Hey guys, it's Tim Pangburn. I wanted to do some Q&A videos, but the first thing somebody asked me a question about was asked if I could talk about acceptance. And the fact is that requires a full video and other videos and an entire library and series of videos, because acceptance is a really big topic, and I could talk about that shit for days, because acceptance has become like a basis of just a huge part of my life. It's a huge basis of where I'm at now and, where I'm going in the future. And I think, with my experience with it, it should be a big part of your life too. It should be a big part of everybody's life. So there's this big misconception, this very common misconception about acceptance, that if you accept something, then that means you're okay with it. That's the first thing I want to get out of the way. Just because you're accepting of a situation doesn't mean you're cool with it, and doesn't mean you're not going to try to change it. Acceptance simply means that you accept that this is the situation. This is what's happening right now. The idea is, if you don't accept things, then you're fighting against the actual reality you're in. If you refuse to accept a situation, you're fighting against facts. You're fighting against real life, the truth that's in front of you. Okay? So you have to accept that shit. If it's right in front of you and this is happening, you have to accept it. If you get in a car accident, you have to accept that you fucked your car up. You can't be like, no, my car's fine. Because what's going to happen then? You're going to drive your fucked up car and it's going to get even more fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Or if you have, a little diagnosis from a doctor for something and you're like, no, I'm fine. You have to accept the fact that that's your diagnosis, or you're going to make it worse. See what I'm saying? And that's kind of how everything is. Like, if you miss your rent, you have to accept the fact that you missed your rent. You can't ignore it and be like, no, it's cool. It's fine. You have to accept it and then make the steps to correct it. Otherwise, now you're behind 2 months' rent and then you're going to get evicted. See what I'm saying? Acceptance is just looking at your current situation and saying, this is what it is, and I accept that this is the reality. I'm not going to fight against what is happening. Doesn't mean you don't change it, because a lot of times you have to accept bad situations. It's easy to accept things when they're good. If you find $50 on the ground, you got no problem accepting that. But it's when bad things happen that kind of grate against what we want and what we desire in our life. When things are kind of button up against that, that's when we have the habit of refusing it and fighting against it and trying to ignore it, trying to push it to the side. It's a refusal. It's not taking things for what they are. Now, again, the problem with this is, if you don't accept shit and you ignore it, that means you're not addressing it, especially in bad situations. You're not addressing it because of your refusal to accept it. It's only going to get worse. You can't ignore shit and hope it gets better. That's not how things work. Okay, so you have to accept a bad situation in order to make a change with it. Now, I want to re-stress the fact that acceptance of a situation is not giving it a thumbs up. It is not saying, I'm cool with this. Like, fuck no. You don't have to be cool with anything. You don't have to be cool with shit if you're not cool with it. That doesn't mean you can't accept that it is the reality of what you're facing. Now, with this comes what I've been calling toxic positivity. Okay? Now, this is the positivity that people pitch, that is like, if you just focus on the good and everything will be all right. It's like, that's not always true. Like, if there are bad situations, you have to address them. You have to deal with them. If you can't deal with it, then there's going to be problems. Positive mindset does not mean you're pushing things to the side, because that's not acceptance. Positive mindset, like, yes, you should focus on what you can do to make things better. That's positivity. Positivity isn't a lack of bad things and ignoring bad things and paying them no mind. Okay, you have to pay mind to all the bad things around you. Because if it's around you, then it's in your life in some form. And if it's in your life in some form, then it's going to affect you. And if you don't make a conscious decision of what you're going to do about it, it's going to make a decision for you. And usually it is not going to be in your best interest. Okay, you got to make those decisions, because if you don't make the decisions about how to handle things, it'll do its own thing. And it does not, it almost never will go your way. Okay, and I think you probably all have experience with that. I know I do, and I'm sure everybody else does too. I'm sure there's been times where you pushed shit off because you didn't want to deal with it, but it never goes away, and it always comes back worse. Worse. I'm in one of those situations right now because I've been pushing off problems with my license because of somebody using my information and getting a ticket in North Carolina in 2016, and then it ended up somehow getting my license suspended in Jersey, and I haven't had a Jersey license since 2011. But that didn't matter. It somehow got my license suspended in Jersey, and now I couldn't renew it in PA, and now my license is expired in PA. And I've been trying to handle it, but I have not been trying to handle it as much as I should. I haven't been dogging it hard enough to actually take care of it, because it is a complicated issue and I haven't wanted to deal with it. I've spent a long time on the phone, but I've been pushing it off. Pushing it off and pretending it doesn't exist. Now, the fact is, I'm fucked if I get pulled over because I'm driving without a license right now, you know? And I can explain it to the cops and they might be cool, but it's going to be a hassle. And it's because I haven't taken care of it. Basically, it's like a time bomb waiting to happen because I've pushed it off. See, and that's how things are when you refuse to accept them for what they are and how they are and just deal with it. Acceptance isn't always a pretty thing, but it doesn't mean you're cool with stuff. Positivity isn't always a pretty thing, and it's not always a happy process. See, that's another common misconception about it. Things aren't always good. And ignoring bad things doesn't make them go away. You still have to deal with them. So in order to deal with them in a positive way, you have to accept them as they are first, and then figure out what's going to be the best course of action going forward. So that's what I mean about acceptance. Now, acceptance became a big part of my life in getting sober, you know, because there were a lot of things I had to accept that I refused to accept. Like, I had to accept the fact that I can't do drugs or drink. I can't, because if I do, the consequences are too serious, and you know, it basically ruins my whole life. But I had a problem accepting that, because accepting that I was unable to do that, I saw it as being weakness. So I pushed it to the side and ignored it and said, no, I can handle it. And it always made things worse. But in sobriety, in recovery, acceptance is this huge part, because what is a trigger for most people who have addiction problems is common stress. Common stress of the things in your life. You don't like how something's going, so you retreat to your drug of choice. Instead, what you're taught to do is accept the stressor in your life, accept what you don't like, and then try to make a change if you can. Everybody knows the, you know, God grant me the serenity. Everybody knows the serenity prayer. Even people that aren't addicts know the serenity prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Everybody knows it because it's fucking true. That's what you have to do. That's how you have to approach everything in life. You know, you got to change the things you can. Not worry about the things you can't, but acknowledge them all the same. That's a brief stint here on acceptance. I have a lot more to say about acceptance. Please, if you have questions about acceptance, whether it's a specific thing to your life or whether it's just, you know, about my experience with it or my opinion on it, please leave it in the comments, shoot me a message. I'm cool with however you want to contact me. I'm always here to talk about this kind of stuff because I want to be able to help people through the process, because doing these things has been massively helpful in my life. So please, if this is helpful, if you have questions, shoot me a message. And if you think this could help somebody you know, please share it with them. That's what I'm here for. And I love you guys. And I thank you for taking the time to watch this. I'll be back soon with something else.